सवैया जोत जीते इन्हीं के प्रसाद सुदान करे अक अवगटारे इन्हीं के प्रसाद इन्हीं की कृपा पुण्य धाम भरे इन्हीं के प्रसाद सो विद्यालय इन्हीं की कृपा सब संत मरे नहीं की कृपा के सजे हम हैं नहीं पोसो गरीब करोड़ मरे.
Good evening, Friscoistan. What are you guys doing here? Inviting the enemy to eat at the table with you and they steal all your food. Your children will grow up without a place to be in because every single one of their jobs, and you saw the children that were brought up on this stage, not one of them is a heritage American. Not one of them was a Texan. Your replacement is here, Americans, and it is coming faster and faster. The Hindus and the Muslims are teaming up to take over Texas. This is not Muslims versus Hindus here. They are here to eradicate the Christians. They are here to drive us out of our homelands. You have to understand, these people do not want to assimilate. These people have not come here to become Americans. They have come here to drag their third world culture over to our country. If Jainism, if Hinduism is so great, why are their countries shitholes? They are bringing this ideology here to turn the third world is not a place. It is a people. It is an ideology. It is a way of life. It is a culture. And when they bring their people, their way of life, their ideology, and their culture over to America, do you think it's going to remain American? Have you ever looked across the plains of Texas and said, I need 5 million Jeets here?
Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh. Welcome to another episode of the Sikh Renaissance. Today's agenda is to cover what Sikh academia, intellectuals, and firebrands have been saying for decades. The demographic war is heating up globally, and the Sikhs seem to be on the losing end as Punjab slowly but surely slips out of their grasp. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to receive all latest updates straight to your inbox and support us in the mission of spreading Sikh supremacy further. Put simply, demographics, or the preservation of demographics, determines sovereignty, and the ancient Sikhs understood this well, until the boomer leadership abandoned this wisdom for secular liberalism during the 1947 partition and afterwards. What Edward Lang said in a Texas civil meeting is not wrong. The Hindu-Muslim demographic war is heating up both at home and abroad. And while Lang and his kind are no great friends of the Sikhs, they're saying something that our idiot boomers should have started thinking about straight after the 80s. We cannot keep relying on a fast unraveling West to continue taking us in. There has to be a limit to how many cultures, how many communities, and how many belief systems any one nation, territory, and host population could withstand and tolerate at any one time. That limit seems to have been reached now. What makes this all the more bitter for Sikhs is three things. 1. We have these rose-tinted glasses that just because we give langar and pervert, yes, pervert, our beliefs and faith to match with the latest Western degeneracy, we are somehow immune to the race wars that are about to grip the West. 2. That if the white populations turn against us, we will have allies in other communities. How well did that go down in the UK? It allowed Muslims to infiltrate our ranks and start sexually abusing our families as their prophet teaches them. But hey, there must be no feeling like getting your daughters raped while flying aloft, the standard of impossible racial and religious unity. 3. We don't have our own homeland. Our idiotic leaders like Master Tara Singh and Sant Fateh Singh doomed our chances, and the few inches we have are today being invaded and colonized by the false religions of Christianity, Islam, and Sanatan Vedic Hindus who betrayed Punjab in the 40s in the 50s and the 80s. No amount of giving out langar and acting as the moral minority is going to save us from the race wars in the West. I mean, there are multiple Sikh youth online who call all this, prancing about we do because of langar choding. That langar choding isn't going to save us. We are strangers in foreign lands, and the hosts are starting to turn against anyone who looks and behaves differently. Now, obviously, we can blame the Christians, the Jews, the Muslims, the Hindus, and whatnot. And yes, these groups are probably making life hard. But the reality is that we are not actively thinking about reacquiring control of our homeland. We're too busy pursuing performative aesthetics such as referendums and upping the carcus while refusing to lobby the current Western powers that yes, we are a stateless people, and yes, we have become your problem by landing at your doorstep, but this problem can only go away if you help us. Of course, the question becomes that if demographics is destiny, then why were the ancient Sikhs and the ancient Khalsa never worried about it? I was recently rereading Santbir Singh's piece, or thesis, if you will, on ancient Khalsa Misl politics, and he makes the same point as Sikri that our forefathers were more concerned with exercising political sovereignty and domination than populist control. He might be right to a certain degree, but he is not entirely right. Guru Nanak enjoined the Sikhs to learn statecraft, and Guru Gobind Singh Ji further commanded them to learn what would today be called Machiavellian, that is, manipulative statecraft. These ancient Khalsa rulers were masters of Chanakayaniti, the subcontinent's art of war. Chanakya points out the power of fear. It is not about whether the ruler inspires fear or not. It is a case of respecting their authority and how they inspire the fear for respecting that authority. There is the fear of a straightforward evil ruler, and then there is the fear of a ruler who you know is strong enough to crush you. This last category was the Sikh ruler, so the distinction might be subtle, but it is there and it is very fine. Shankya points out that the elephant fears the goad in the hands of its master. Now, this master can either mistreat it or treat it well, but the goad, that whip, will always be there. Its fear of the master, irrespective of the master's character and treatment of it, is so complete that even a goad lying around is enough to send it into a panic. This was the Sikh art of ruling, the Sikh art of statecraft. The fear of what the Khalsa would do to you if you did not respect its authority was enough to keep populations that outnumbered Sikhs in total control. And this is what Gyani Gyan Singh says in the Shamsher Khalsa. Why did the Punjabi Muslims stop warring against their fellow infidel Punjabis and start warring against their fellow pedophile worshipping Afghans after handing over their daughters to be raped by them in the name of Ummah Jumma? Because they witnessed the Khalsa's ascendancy and feared what the Sikhs would do to them if they continued supporting the fast weakening Afghans. The Khalsa has always ruled through force. The threat of leveraging force has always been around the corner. This is what able and wise rulers do. They have a different morality to their subjects. This is what Chanakya and Machiavelli point out as well. Good men do bad for the greater good, but within the limits of necessary cruelty. This is not a figment of the human imagination, it is divine ordinance. What Lang, though, is yet to realize is that the reason Hindus and Muslims are teaming up against the Western world is due to weakness. It is only natural that two enemies who share a common goal, and no matter how much they hate each other, will always seize their own destructive conflict and join forces to open up a united front against the third, weaker enemy and overpower them this way. It is a sound strategy and one that has historically paid dividends. Look at 1984 in India. No matter how our idiots try excusing Sule Muslim Gujars and Maulvis who raped Sikh women in mosques, the reality is these two, both Muslims, set up rape camps outside Delhi's outskirts, right? And when Sikh women lost their husbands and their children, Pav Singh covers this in his book on 1984, eyewitness testimonies are there, the Muslims would come and say, "Oh, sisters, look what has happened to the Sikhs. Oh, sisters, come with us, we will save you." Either they would take them, strip them naked, and rape them in the mosques, or take them to these rape camps. How many Sikh girls jumped into the Yamuna River because Muslims raped them? No one knows. But hey, let's excuse them, right? Because India is a Hindu nation and the Hindus are our only enemies, eh? Like, that's what the boomers would have us believe, and these Fuddu Khalistanis sitting abroad. So, at the time, Hindus and Muslims teamed up against a weak third party, the Sikhs. Pakistan also made a U turn on the Khalistan issue and betrayed the Kharkus to India. In his Knights of Falsehood and subsequent books, because, Knights of Falsehood is the most well known one, KPS Gill profusely thanks Pakistan for its volte-face, saying that without it, India would never have got rid of the Kharkus. You're hearing it straight from the horse's mouth through his words. The Hindu Muslim demographic war against the Sikhs. Now remember this, it is more real than it is against the West, because we are facing it on two fronts. The Westerners have their own countries out of which they're trying to kick them out. Sikhs don't have their own country. And if the Sikhs get kicked out of the West, they have to go and live among these two degenerates. The civilization of the flying donkey and the civilization of the flying monkey. So, what weakens the West essentially is Christianity, right? Machiavelli predicted this centuries ago. Christianity's emphasis on loving the enemy will always cause the West to collapse. It is a cyclical process. Michael Walsh makes the same point in his Last Stand's book. The danger possessed by the Islamic crescent to the West, but also to other communities it threatens, is not directly in the danger it represents on its own, but in the aftermath. Once Islam has weakened a society, it sets about eroding its values by altering languages and even people's psyches. So basically, it is the stormtrooper to weaken a people, kill off all the warriors among them, and then weaken them. And Guru Nanak alludes to this in his Gurbani. Aad Purkh ka Allah kahiye, Sekha ai bari, Deval devtiya karo laga aisi kirat chali, कुंजा बाग कुंजा बाग नवाज मुसला नील रूप बनवारी घर घर मिया sabna jiya bole avar tumari. And what this means is, and now it is the turn of the sheikhs, the Muslims, to unleash tyranny upon the world. They declare the primal being, Akal Purakh, to be Allah. They impose jizya upon the temples of the deities. What a state of affairs indeed. Because the Hindus betrayed other Hindus to the Muslims, thinking that the Muslims wouldn't actually touch them, but the Muslims did by ultimately declaring the very Hindu creed outlawed. So all the Hindus who betrayed their other Hindus, they also lost their own Hindu heritage. The Islamic ablution pots, their loud cries and their prayer mats litter the world. Their light blue color is seen all around and has become the color of the day. In each and every home, the Muslim tongue is opposed upon the non-Muslims. O people, this is directed to the Hindus. Look at how you forfeit your speech. And this is on Ang 1190 of the Guru Granth Sahib. So, what is nefarious is that Islam also opens the way for other inimical ideologies like Sanatan to get a foothold among the impacted population. After 9/11, Muslims made a big cry about being victims, even though they were the aggressors, but they started boosting the left. And as the left started getting boosted, the left also started letting in other peoples who were equally degenerate. Now, to reiterate that previous point, what is nefarious is that Islam also opens the way for other inimical ideologies like Sanatan to get a foothold among the impacted population. Even though Islam seeks to destroy infidels, it has no problem in using other infidels to destroy a targeted infidel community. And this is done strategically as it was done with the Sikhs. The Hindu and Muslim will make common cause. The Hindu, because he wants to come out on the top, the Muslim, because he wants to come out on the top. They will put their differences aside to sort out any potential dangers to both of them. In the West, it is the Eurocentric civilization. In the East, it is Sikh Khalsa masculinity. Lang is right in that both Sanatan and Islam expose pedophilia and rape. Muhammad molested 9-year-old Aisha. Brahma created and molested his own daughter. Can you get any lower than that? And both these two figureheads, Muhammad and Brahma, are worshipped by their respective adherents. Christianity's emphasis on loving your enemy, meanwhile, has weakened the West, allowing the enemy within its doors. Something similar has also happened with the Sikhs. We have experienced this. Sikhi is not as weak or liberal as Christianity, but two genocides within 80 years, the corruption of Sikh institutes, and the imposition of diabolical white bearded leadership that disallows and discourages our youth from pursuing authentic Sikhi, that is far removed from the full story of Kanhaiya and his shenanigans, has devolved warriors into langarais, and that has made us as weak and demented as the Christians. The writing is on the wall. Even historically, Hindus have teamed up with Muslims to oppose the Sikhs. What the West is facing, we're also facing, and we have faced in the past. Our idiots lost a golden opportunity after 9/11 to make the case that look at us Sikhs. We have faced the Hindus before, we have fought the Muslims before. Now you're dealing with the Muslims who have attacked you, but they will also team up with the Hindus among you to destroy you from within while pretending to hate the Muslims from the outside, right? And one such example comes from the Battle of Nadaun during the Sikh wars with the Hindu Muslim combined. Sanatan Vedic Hindu Rajput Bhimchand united his fellow Sanatan Vedic Hindu kings and begged Guru Gobind Singh Ji to help them against the Mughals. The Sanatanis had drunk extra cow urine and felt that they could now challenge Aurangzeb because they were stoned on the urine, and Aurangzeb decided to send in a whole army to put them in their place. Of course, Guru Gobind Singh Ji knew that Sanatan is a byword for treachery, but he also knew that this was a golden opportunity to weaken the Mughals, find out the Sanatani infiltrators among the Sikhs, and also discover which areas around Anandpur Sahib were actually pro Sikh or lived next to the Sikhs but secretly supported the Hindus and Muslims while pretending to be pro Sikh. So the battle happened and the Sikhs annihilated the Muslims. But the Hindus decided to go behind the Sikhs' back and negotiate with the Muslims while blaming the Sikhs. The Guru and his Sikhs were well aware of this. They also knew that the local Muslims around Anandpur Sahib were also betraying Sikhs to the Hindus, and the Hindus in turn were killing them to appease the Muslims in Delhi. So they knew that sooner or later the Hindu and Muslim would unite against the Sikh. The commonalities between their religions was too much to allow them to continue fighting each other forever. So what happened next? Now this is where Kavi Senapati, an eyewitness, tells us in a Sri Gur Sobha chronicle what happened next. धोरा राजन के हित करने क्यों जुद इमजान कथा जुद नदवन को भरनत ही बयान मियाँ खान के तड़पते लब खान सरदार अन नदवन में रहो कि नेतो मपहाड़ भीमचंद कलोरिया हटो रविक जान तेसो ते की नहीं बनी रचियो जुद कमसाहण देश देश के रव सब लीने तिने हकार सतगुर को कीना लिखा देओ करो करतार. So what Sainapati is saying is that it was for the benefit of the royal hill chiefs that Guru Gobind Singh Ji fought a battle, and now that he, the poet, is actually recounting what happened at Nadaun in front of his eyes. So Mian Khan, the Mughal commander, actually invited Alf Khan, who commanded a larger Mughal force, to come into Punjab, especially the Ropar district, and sort out the Hindu, Sanatan Vedic Hindu kings who were actually refusing to pay tribute to Delhi. And what happened was that at that time, because of Alf Khan coming in, Bhim Chand of Kalor, Sanatan Vedic Hindu, who was the ruler of Bilaspur, he decided that enough was enough, and that while the Hindu hill chiefs were only expressing dissent against Aurangzeb, he had sent in a military to crush them without listening to them first. That, yeah, now is the time for the battle, and we're just going to fight the Muslims. And then a massive fight broke out between the two. And because the Hindus were weak and cowards, they started losing. And so Bhimchand had to swallow his pride, and he decided to send a written appeal to the Guru that you are the embodiment of Akal Purakh. Please help us on compassionate grounds. That Guruji, we can't win without you. Let us forget the past and try, making out a good future for ourselves and our people. let's throw the Mughals away. So Savaiya फौज शिगार के अपते उसमाए जुद की काज ते तुरताए 101 बलवंत सूरा सरस पिरे ते तो होर धन का बजाए भयो संग्राम पर काम जोधन के पिरे ई भंती ताड़ने एक घाए तूपक संभार के आप तही समय सुर कितने ते तोड़ताए. And what the Guru decided to do was the Guru organized a massive army for the battle. He arrived at the scene, he was all prepared, and among him were the Sikh warriors who were well renowned as being more dangerous than each other. And banging their drums, their nagara, they started shouting out their war cries and insults at the enemy and clashed. So there was a massive, fierce battle between mighty warriors. Hundreds, thousands were slaughtered, and the Guru himself, holding a musket, killed as many Muslims as possible. दौरा दूतन के दल अत बकत निकटी पहुंच आन तब तो भंग करते तजे के हो लैन गुणबाण. And as the enemy started massing forward towards the Sikhs, they started arriving too close for the gun to be reloaded. So the Sikh musketeers started falling back. So what Guru Gobind Singh Ji did now was he actually put aside his musket, ordered his warriors to do the same, and then picked up his bow and arrow and started shooting arrows, which was much quicker. Savaiya ਧਨੁਕ ਸੰਭਾਰ ਲਲਕਾਰ ਤਹਿ ਸਮੇਂ ਕਲ ਕੇ ਰੂ ਬਣਨ ਪ੍ਰਹਾਰ ਅਨੇਕ ਜੋਧਾ ਹਣੇ ਅਨੇਕ ਹੋਇਨ ਮਾਨ ਅਨੇਕ ਧਜ ਖੇਤ ਖੇਤਨ ਸਿਧਾਰੇ ਅਨੇਕ ਲੋਟੇ ਪੜੇ ਅਨੇਕ ਭਜੇ ਘਾੜੇ ਅਨੇਕ ਦਰ ਬਸਤਰ ਅਰ ਸ਼ਸਤਰ ਧਾਰੇ ਹੱਤ ਇੱਕ ਬਾਰ ਉਜੜ ਕਟ ਕੇ ਭਾੜੇ ਭਜੀ ਕਹੇ ਕਹਿਣ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਪਧਾਰੇ ਸ਼ਸਤਰ ਸੰਭਰ ਲਲਕਾਰ ਘਣ ਸੋ ਜੋ ਘਾੜੇ ਮਰੀ ਮਾਰ ਕਰ ਸੁਰ ਧਾਏ ਭਜਿਓ ਜੋ ਖਾਨ ਇੱਕ ਭਾੜ ਕੇ ਓਟ ਲਈ ਬੈਠੇ ਤੇ ਥੋੜ ਫਿਰ ਜੋਧ ਭਾਈ ਬਣ ਗੋਲੀ ਚਲੀ ਰਣ ਅਦ ਭਲੀ ਭਾਜੀ ਕੇ ਖਾਨ ਤਾਤੇ ਸਦਾਏ ਅਲਪ ਖੰਨਣ ਅਰਮਾਨ ਰੱਖਿਓ ਨਹਿਣ ਆਪਣ ਜੋੜ ਕੇ ਧਾਨ ਲਾਏ. So what happened was that the Guru started killing as many of the enemy as possible with his bow and arrow. His warriors followed suit, and even though they had wreaked havoc with the gun and the bullet, Sainapati says that now the shower of arrows was so fierce that the Muslims started running away while the Hindus watched in awe. Because even though the Sikh force was small in number, it was quite brave and had a lot of guts, and this gumption made up more for the loss of number rather than anything else. And as the Muslim commanders started falling off their horses, their soldiers, their aides, their bodyguards started running away, and it became such a scene that the Sikhs started chasing them. And to be more faster, the Muslims started throwing off their armor and the horses' armor, the elephants' armor, and the Sikhs just kept on looting them. So the Muslims are running away, and there are chains of Sikhs behind them who are just grabbing everything and just, sending it to the back. That, hey, here's a sword, here's this, here's that. And there was a abandoned inn on the side, some sort of a structure, and that's where the Muslims took shelter. Now, Guru Gobind Singh Ji came along on his horse. He's shouting Jakare, he's in armor, his sword is bloodied. And, waving about his sword, he actually starts challenging the Muslims hiding inside and firing a volley of arrows. And what he does is he starts taking pot shots, killing as many of the Muslims as possible. And Alf Khan, seeing this, actually deserts the structure and runs away and takes cover behind a wall point. And then what the Guru does is while chasing Alf Khan, he actually takes position atop a little hill nearby and starts directing his archers and his musketeers to shoot from, where he is. And it becomes midnight. So suddenly, like the night has descended, it has become midnight. They haven't realized, that how much time has passed in this war. And the Pathans, the Muslims, are fleeing and crying, and they're lying on the field dying. And Alf Khan has left no stone unturned in this fight. He has come with a full force, but at the end of the day, he really can't do much and decides to run away. Dora जुद जीतते तहे समय नवरासे के तत आन पंच दो और एक दिन रहे तहन इस जान पोर पोर देखी थोड़ राजन के स्थान बिदे भय तही समय सतगुर पुरख सुजान निकटी गणव अलसुन के तबे पहुंचे आन तही सम ऐसे कहो लुट लियो ए थान. Now, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, after seeing Alf Khan flee, orders pretty much all his forces killed. Those who can't be saved are killed. The rest are looted and made prisoners and sent away. to wherever the Sikhs are imprisoning them. So what happens is that the Guru stays at the bank of the river. He stays there for 8 days, and Sangats and many others come from all over to bow down to him, to ask favors of him, to congratulate him. And it is here that the Guru is told and provided vital intelligence on which villages and which people are against the Sikhs and which ones are in support of the Sikhs. So the Guru visits many sites in the region of the hill chiefs, the kings, and then because the kings are really scared of the Guru now, because they have been thrashed mercilessly by the Muslims, and it is only because of the Guru they have been saved. There are multiple factions emerging among them. Some are saying we should consolidate the Guru, others like Bhim Chand are saying no, we should kill him. So while they're fighting among themselves, the Guru travels through their territories and collects all this vital intelligence. So now the Guru is returning towards his home, and what he sees while going to Anandapur is that there is a village called Alsoon, and the Guru orders his Sikhs to take a rest and then arm themselves, get ready for war, and then attack this village straight away. They need to loot it, they need to plunder it, and they need to burn it down to the ground. Now, this is when he learns that Bhim Chand's faction has started negotiating with the Muslims, and all the other Hindu kings who were in the battle, they've also fallen in with Bhimchand and decided to betray everything they fought for. Swaya an अलसून में सुर ऐसे रपई पकड़े के शास्त्र चलाए पड़े जो जय संग्राम ऐसे कियो चणक में अनेक खेतन काए मरी केट लियो और पजाए सबे चोय तान तम ऐसे सदाए चलत है बण गण जन पहाड़ी पर बाल भजे है पंत ऐसे बताए. So entering Asloon, the Guru's warriors, Alsoon actually, the Guru's warriors start fighting, and they incite such discord that they just slaughter all the inhabitants inside. This is even in Kulwant Singh's edition of the Sri Gur Sobha that many inhabitants did they slaughter. Slaughtering so many with so many deserting, all the inhabitants fled, abandoning their belongings. Such a deadly volley of arrows were shot there that it is difficult to give account of desertions and destruction. Dora फतेह कियो अलसुन को भजियो तबल निसान गोबिंद सिंह तबे पर आनंद सब थान इत सारी गुरसोबा ग्रंथ राजी इत संग्राम तीसरे दोहा संपन्न मस्त सब mast. And what it says is that after Alsoon fell to the Guru's warriors, the beat of war drum announced victory. Thereafter, departing from Ansul, Guru Gobind Singh arrived at Holi Anandpur Sahib. Now, the reality here is that Alsoon was not some random village the Guru decided to loot and slaughter its inhabitants. There is a deep history here as well. And that history is something a lot love to ignore because, like I said previously, they only know Kanaya, they don't know anything else. And they get scared at the end of the day when someone tells them the true history, and then they have to make up some real retarded excuses like this is Bamanwad, this is that, this is that. So Alsoon was a village of Sanatan Rajputs who had willingly converted to Islam, but they joined hands with the local Hindu kings, believing the Sikhs weak on account of their small numbers. They used to shout profanities against Guru Nanak, abducted Sikh women and raped them, and harassed Sikh Sangats. Guru Gobind Singh Ji knew this was a demographic war. They lived in Sikh territory and still refused to pay the Sikhs tribute. They provided vital intelligence to the Hindus on Sikh movements and also flipped the table during the Hindu-Mughal negotiations, attempting to blame the whole affair on Sikhs. So basically what Bhim Chand and company did was they went to the Muslims and said, hey, look, Guru Gobind Singh was the one who incited us. We really didn't want to fight against you. So, knowing that Alsoon was the first beachhead in a potential demographic war, the Guru drove them out and destroyed their village. The ruins of this village are still near Anandpur Sahib. Right? This was the Guru's recognition, acknowledgement actually of the fact that there is a demographic war being imposed on Sikhs, being waged on Sikhs, and we need to fight back. Now, previously, we have been criticized heavily for our views on non Sikhs, and many people will come and tell us, oh, but Guru Nanak at Kartarpur had Hindus and Muslims living there. Well, if anyone can provide any evidence of this, yeah, sure, we will be more than happy to correct our views. But if you don't have the evidence other than fucking feel good stories, please just shut the fuck up and stay away. Now, Sangat Singh tells us in his Sikhs in history that this Hindu Muslim demographic war against the Sikhs never ended. Now, based on contemporary Indian parliamentary communications with Pakistan, this is Sangat Singh still, the Indian government opened negotiations with Pakistan after 10 years after partition to allow Indian citizens to return to Pakistan as a means of, encouraging cross-border travel and opening up both nations for commerce and trade. Pakistan responded that the Muslims would love to reciprocate and they would tolerate Hindus coming among them but not Sikhs. India responded this was understandably so, and now unfortunately the Hindus had inherited the Sikh problem. So there you go, the Sikh problem. And now let us look at Punjab again. Mosques are popping up again all over Dwaba, Majh, and Malwa. Pedophile rape is beginning to happen again. Sikh women are openly being targeted again. Now, remember a few years ago when Muslim Gujars clashed with Sikhs in Amritsar and openly showed their private parts to Sikh women, saying that their religion allows gang rape? No lies there, though. Their religion does allow gang rape. And women are very vital in a demographic war because if you take away a man's ability to have sex with a woman and create children, you're finished. And by trying to convert women to their own false faith, Muslims and Hindus are actually colonizing wombs. Guru Gobind Singh Ji actually told the Khalsa to be careful of all other religions, and this is in the Bijay Mukhtar Shastar, because if they colonize the wombs of your woman, that's it. Your demography is finished because your society cannot reproduce. And what happened after this Gujar incident in Amritsar? Well, this is what happened. The Muslim Qazi of Ludhiana, whose demolished mosque was restored by Sikhs, suddenly storms into Amritsar and says he will wipe out all Sikhs if anything is done to a Muslim Gujar. This is what happens when you start believing the demented story of some retarded Kanaya giving langar to his enemies as the truth and take the kirpan away from our youth and give them karche to feed the enemy. And then the worst of it, Musewala's father caves into the Muslims when they say that Musewala's song Var potentially insults their pedophile prophet. They're allowed to do namaz in our gurdwaras, spit in our sarovars, but hey, we Sikhs can't say anything because Paichara. And let us not forget Hindus either. The Biharis Datanis have entered Punjab en masse thanks to the Akali Dal's policy of taking in every other unskilled migrant in India. It has destroyed Punjab's economy and now threatens its cultural fabric. The Muslim worships the Arabian black stone, and that is where his loyalties lie, in the deserts of Arabia. The Hindu worships the rocks across the Yamuna, and that is where his loyalty lies, at Nagpur. None of them are loyal to Punjab, and when their numbers are high enough, they will resume doing to the Sikhs what they've been doing from the times of the Gurus: genocide. Add in as well that Punjabi Christians are also increasing, and previously they supported Pakistan, although now they're getting their ass handed to them there and deservingly so, and it seems to be the end game for all Sikhs. This is called demographic catastrophe. When you become a Kanaya, you lose the very land of your forefathers. And this has happened previously in Punjab. The Muslims and Hindus invaded the Darbar Sahib and started performing their spiritually unclean rituals in its precincts. The Christians fought to throw out the Guru Granth Sahib and our Shastars and build a church there. Aggressive Sikh youth fought back, and when these youth refused to listen to the elderly whitebeards of their time, these whitebeards deliberately stole Kartar Singh Jabbar and his 2,000 strong armed Jatha, ensuring that the Sangats who reached Nankana Sahib were massacred by a combination of Hindus and Muslims, while Christians denied them justice. This is not only a clash of civilizations, it is also a clash of religions. This is what demography is. It recognizes the bitter cold reality that utopian purviews of the picture are just that: fantasies. They can never come true. The Gurus promise no such thing either. Even their Halemi Raj is built on the foundations of Shastars and Sena, weapons and armies. We just read the first few lines of the Guru Granth Sahib and stop. We never continue past them, knowing that the rest of the Shabads challenge our confirmation bias. Wearing your kirpans openly and being in bana while walking down the roads. This is only possible in the Punjab of our ancestors, where each and every inch is soaked with the blood of Gursikh Shaheeds. It is not possible in a West that lost its spirituality a long time ago. And now, even the Punjab is threatened because we have stopped our prachar, we have stopped our abhyas. All we have is Kanaya and his bloody karcha. Our youth are leaderless and soy. The very Gurdwaras, a generation of Singhs and Singhanias under Singh Sabha Lahore and the Gurdwara reform movement perished defending, are now either attacked by old fucks like Karminder Tillo, looted by double agents like Daljit Singh JP in New Zealand, or are used for even worse purposes by other whitebeards like in India where they're actually having fucking Kanjariya Nach and Gurdwaras. We are at the same stage as Rome. Degeneracy is not some affliction. It is not a disease that can be treated. It is a mindset, a religion in itself. From a Gurmat perspective, Islam is degenerate, Sanatan is degenerate, Christianity is degenerate. Why would a Sikh civilization, a Khalsa Raj, even tolerate them? Sharia is the cornerstone of Islam. Without Sharia, there is no Muslim. Without caste, there is no Hindu. Without discrimination, there is no Christian. And this discrimination is the worst of it all, to eradicate a whole culture and a community, the same as Islam. So, do you know why we at the Sikh Renaissance are always upping the missiles? Because the missile sardars ensured that if Muslims and Hindus overstepped the mark with their beliefs, Sharia and caste namely, and imposed them on non Sikhs, it was pretty much game over for their whole community. This is true Sikh supremacy. So please understand that demography is destiny. Multiculturalism is a hollow illusion without the force of arms. Christianity has proven this. Christians are massacred in the thousands because they invite an enemy that would sooner kill and rape them than join them. They actually fucking invite them in their homes, and that's why they're suffering. This is what happened with Rome. Christianity weakened it, amplifying its weaknesses in the long run, leading to its collapse. The same will happen with Punjab until or unless we Sikhs get aggressive in our prachar, return to our roots, and yes, start thinking about regaining our Punjab. Both Pakistani Punjab and Indian Punjab. Because while the Muslims and Hindus may have been there longer than us, they're like the sons who raped their own mother. And us Sikhs, we will die for the mother rather than touching her or allowing someone else to touch her. Now, will we renew Guru Gobind Singh Ji's quote at Alsoon or not? Not going to be easy, and many of us will have to perish. But why not invite trouble and conflict in our own times so at least our children are safe? That's all for today. Until next time, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
सवैया दुत जिते इन्हीं के प्रसाद इन्हीं के प्रसाद सुदान करे अक्ल अवगटार इन्हीं के प्रसाद इन्हीं की कृपा पुण्य धाम भरे इन्हीं के प्रसाद सो विद्यालय इन्हीं की कृपा सब सत्य मरे नहीं की कृपा के सजे हम हैं नहीं पोसो गरीब करो